Hello, it has been a really long time, so long in fact that it feels weird to be talking to my camera again. Welcome back, and I should welcome myself back to my channel because it has been a very long time since I've posted a video, and it is for a very good reason. I am going to share all of the things that have been going on the last several months and why I have been absent from this space. I'm sharing 3 really big life updates, life changes with you. If you follow me on Instagram, you know some of them already. If you don't, I'm here to talk about what has been going on and where I have been the last few months. So grab some coffee, some tea. I have my coffee ready, and let's chat. All right, so clearly I have been absent for a few months. I think the last video that I shared was in September or maybe August even, I'm not even sure. But that is right around the time where all of my family is home while I'm filming these videos. So I apologize if you hear my kids or my husband in the background. So in September, 3 really big changes happened in our family, and it is the reason why I have been absent from here. So the first thing that happened that was a huge thing, a huge life change for us, my husband suddenly lost his job at the end of August. Actually, it was in September, and at the end of August. And he is the sole provider for our family, and it came very suddenly and very unexpectedly. So as you can imagine, that is extremely stressful, especially given that he is the sole provider for our family. And from September to November, he was unemployed. And to say that it was hard and stressful is a severe understatement. As you are all well aware, the state of our economy, it is very difficult for everyone right now. And it was just a really hard time to lose our income. So from September to November, he was unemployed, and he did get a job the middle of November, and he worked for about 6 weeks, and then he was laid off again for the same reasons that he was laid off from his previous company. Now, his previous company he had been with for a few years, and it was a major corporation, and they did a major layoff for thousands of employees, and unfortunately my husband was one of them. And then when he got laid off again, it was for similar reasons, financial budget cuts and things. And so he lost his job twice in the span of 4 months. And again, as you can imagine, that has been very difficult and very, very stressful. It really takes a toll on your mental health when you go through those things, and we have experienced job loss like that, like very suddenly layoff 3 times in the last few years. And I pray that we are done going through that, but it is really hard. And if you have never experienced that, consider yourself very lucky and very blessed, because it is very difficult. There is a movie that always comes to mind. It has come to mind often throughout this, and it is this movie called Up in the Air. And if you haven't seen it, the movie stars George Clooney, and his job is to go into companies and lay off people, for other businesses. And through like that movie, you see, like, you really feel like how difficult this is to just suddenly lose your job. And thankfully we are still young enough that we can like recover from that, but it's still really hard, and it has been a very difficult few months for us. So the second biggest life change that happened 2 weeks after we found out that my husband lost his job, we found out that I am pregnant. And again, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have shared very openly there that we were all done. We were all done having kids. I had finally come to a point when we had our fifth baby. I felt peace and contentment, and I felt fulfilled. I no longer felt that desire or that need to have more babies. And it was the first time ever since we started having children that I felt that way. I have always desired to feel done. And, you know, I know everyone always asks, like, you know, how do you know when you're done? You know, I know some people like never feel like they never get to that feeling. And then other, you know, people have said that you just know. And for me, that was me. I just knew that I was done. My body was done. I was mentally done. I was ready for us as a family to like move on to the next season of our life. All of our kids are very close in age, and it feels like we have been in Groundhog's Day for years, because my oldest is only 9 and we have had 5 kids. So we had 5 kids in 7 years. So I was mentally finally at peace with the size of our family and who was in our family. I was great. Like, I was at a really good place. And to find out that I was pregnant was a shock. You know, we hadn't taken any permanent steps, but we were definitely like we were actively trying to make sure that that didn't happen. Because again, I was done. Like, I had gotten rid of all of our baby stuff. That's how I knew that I was done, because I felt I had no sentimental attachment to the baby stuff anymore, and I wanted to like give it away and to get rid of it. And then we found out that I was pregnant. And not only that, but 2 weeks after my husband lost his job, which is just impeccable timing. So, along with the job loss that we have been trying to navigate through, and the stress of that, me getting pregnant has just been another added layer. And I personally hate being pregnant. I know that it is a gift, and I'm grateful that I have been able to be pregnant for as many times as I have been and carry healthy children and give birth to them. But pregnancy is not kind to me or my body. Also, I'm getting older, and the older that I've gotten, the harder my pregnancies have been on me. And my last pregnancy was the most difficult by and far. And the moment that I found out that I was pregnant again, I was scared, because I knew how hard it was the last time, and I just had a feeling that it was likely going to be the same. And sure enough, it has been the same. My lack of absence here has been a lot of just me being so sick during those first 4 months that I couldn't even do anything else. I was barely being able to like homeschool my kids and get out of bed, let alone do literally anything else. My nausea was really bad. This time I was able to have medication. The last time I didn't have medication to help with my nausea, which made it worse. And that's a story for another time. But this time I was able to have medication, and even with the nausea medication, I was still so violently ill 24/7. And it has mostly gone away at this point, but it has just come with once that has gone away, it has come with other really hard things on my body. My body just does not do well with pregnancy. And again, it has just gotten worse the more babies I've had and the older that I've gotten. So, you know, the last few months, it has not only been My husband forgot that I was filming, so anyway, so the last few months, not only have I been dealing with the physical aspect of being pregnant, but also just the mental part of it, again, because I was mentally very much done, and it has been a process. It has been a long 5 months of wrapping my head around having another baby. And you know, it's hard to explain unless you have experienced this, like when you have mentally decided like that you're all done, and then to have to go back into it and to like reevaluate everything. It's been very difficult. Along with the other part of it is during pregnancy, I cannot be on the medication that I take for my mental health. I cannot be on all of it. And so some of it I have been able to continue to take, but not all of it, which has been an added layer to, you know, everything else in my life with my husband's unemployment and, you know, the stress that comes with that. And then my pregnancy and how hard that has been for me. And then to also not be able to even have my mental health be 100%, it has been very, very difficult. And I am just trying to try to take a day at a time and focus on that day and getting through the day. And I am due in May, and I'm a little over halfway there at this point. And I am praying that the next few months just go by really quickly, because I don't like being pregnant. The silver lining that I have taken out of it is that this time I did have my husband at home for most of my pregnancy thus far. He has been at home to help when I just need to lay down, when I need to rest, and he has given that to me, no question. You know, he gives me all the time that I need to rest, and that has definitely been the silver lining this time, is that I have had that, and the last time I didn't. So again, trying to see the positive of the really hard things, but sometimes it's just hard and it sucks, and you just got to get through it. And I know that there is an end in sight, and we will get there eventually. Now, the other like final thing that happened, and again, this all happened within like a 2-week span. The early to middle of August of last year, right before like the school year starts, the traditional school year starts, my husband and I sat down and really seriously discussed the idea of sending our middle child to public school. And that came with a lot of hard work, because as a homeschool parent who has always homeschooled, I have never had my kids in a public school of any kind. It was hard to even consider sending my child to a public school, because just the thought of sending him away was really, really difficult. What really prompted this is over the summer, we saw him really struggling with some neurodivergent issues and difficulties. And he has always been difficult, and we never could figure out why or pinpoint it. We just kind of always chalked it up to like his age, because he was, a toddler, and then a 4-year-old, but then he was 5, and he was still kind of like struggling with the same things, and they weren't getting any better with his age, and a lot of the things he was struggling with weren't age appropriate anymore. So it's when we really started to look deeper into what can we do to help him thrive? Because at that point, he was not thriving being at home all day anymore. And honestly, he never really has thrived being at home all day. But because he was so young, like we just thought like maybe it's just because he's 2 or he's 3 or he's just little. But at this point we had to seriously consider maybe it is something else. And so we have taken some additional steps to work on figuring that out for him. But we both had a feeling that he needed more of a routine and a structure that a classroom setting can provide that I simply can't provide at home. No matter how routine and structured your homeschool is, it won't mimic a classroom because your child's still at home. And so we made the decision to enroll him in school. So he is at a Montessori school, and we chose a Montessori over a public school because we thought it would be closer to a home education versus, what a public school does, and he would still have a little bit more freedom. So we made the decision to enroll him into the Montessori school, and he started there in September, and it has been good so far. We have no real complaints. I've definitely struggled with a lot of mom guilt through the last several months since he's been in school, because it's hard having all of your children at home except for one of them. And even though I know that it is what is right for him right now, it doesn't make it any easier. And we definitely saw a huge improvement in his overall demeanor and his behavior at home. I also think that he's grown and he's matured also. I don't know if that's because of him being in school or just getting older, but we have seen it help him, and I definitely think that we made the right choice, even though it's hard for us as his parents to send him off. It has been really good for him, and I share this because I want to be very transparent that while I fully believe in home education and homeschooling your kids and keeping them home and cherishing their innocence and their childhood and letting your kids grow and learn at their own pace, sometimes that doesn't work for all of your kids. And from day one, from the moment we decided to homeschool our kids 5 years ago, we have always said that we will make the right choice for each kid as each year approaches. And it was a really hard decision, but we have been very open about it with everyone, because I don't want people to ever think that it's one or the other, that you can only do one or the other, because it's just not the case. What works for one of your kids is not going to work for all of them. And we are living proof of that. I was really nervous about him being at home over the Christmas holiday break, because I didn't know how he would do being out of his element and not having that routine for 2 weeks. But he actually did really well being at home, so much and so that it was really hard to send him back to school. And this past week was his first week back in school after break, and all week I've had a really hard time just really struggling with guilt and wondering maybe we should pull him, maybe it did what it needed to do, but we decided to wait and see how the summer goes, because it's a longer period of time for him to be home, and kind of reevaluate in the fall if we think that he needs to be back in school, or if we think that he would do okay being at home again. So through all of those things that have happened over the last few months, you know, transitioning with my, you know, middle son being in school, which has been a very big transition, which I'm happy to talk more about in another video, but also all of the other things that we've been going through. I've still been homeschooling, and I'm gonna talk more about this in another video, but my next video I'm gonna share kind of an update of like how the first half of our year has gone, and the curriculum we've been using and all those things. So I will share more about that in another video. But through all of that, we are still homeschooling our kids, most of them, and it has been a hard year for us. So I am hopeful that this upcoming year, we as a family will just have a little bit of sunshine. We need it. So I hope that explains where I have been the last few months, and I hope that you all will join me here again. I really love sharing our homeschool life with you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and thanks for joining me. And I would love to hear how your homeschool year has been going so far. Let me know down below, and I will see you in the next video.
The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay.